What's up, Knicks fans? It's your boy Brian here, the random Knicks guy. I think I'm gonna change that to just the Knicks guy, but we'll see. So I'm putting this little video together because we're about to enter one of the craziest off seasons in NBA history. I think a lot of teams feel that they are primed to compete for a championship. And a lot of teams are going to look to make big moves, Knicks included. So, title of this video is, can the Knicks get Randle help? Because right now, he's pretty much alone on Randall's Island. And my little shitty Photoshop of the Rikers Island sign with Julius Randle and Knicks logos for Randall's Island. But yes, let's explore if the Knicks can get Randle some superstar help so they can really be competitive in the East in the next few years. Shall we? So the first one is Kawhi Leonard. He can easily sign as a free agent if he opts out, and all indications say that he will. You sign him, you just use cap space, you lose no assets. You shouldn't care about his rehab. He's going to lose 9 months. That first year, you're not really going to compete with him. That's fine because when he's healthy, he's one of the best. And, if you sign him, you can push all your assets into the middle and say, give me Dame, give me Beal, give me someone to pair up with these two, and you're off to the races. And you may not compete the first year with Kawhi on the contract because of his knee, but you'll be competing year in and year out after that. And if you get the right third star, you're really going to be on top of the East. And at least with Randle and the second star while Kawhi is rehabbing, they can make a playoff run. And if Kawhi comes back healthy and good to go in the playoffs, you can make a push for the finals. Right? But the worst outcome for the Knicks is if Kawhi Leonard decides he wants to play in Miami. If he decides that, the Knicks, well, that's another piece not only off the board, but now he's in the East. He's making a team in the East better, and that makes it tougher to compete because now the Heat go from a 4 through 10 seed to solidify that 4 seed. Because with him, even though Jimmy Butler's kind of old and falling off, him and Bam Adebayo are a really good team. And remember, it's just going to cost them cap space, so they're still going to be able to have a team around him. So if the Knicks can land Kawhi Leonard, I don't believe they will. I will believe the Knicks will sign a big free agent when it happens. Until I see a Woj bomb that Kawhi has agreed with the Knicks on a contract, I'm not going to believe they have a chance. But we'll see. They have the cap space. He can only go to a team that has the cap space. Other case scenario, I did a video on it, he can choose a team like the Warriors, and the Warriors, instead of helping out the Clippers in their conference, can screw the Clippers forever and just give all the assets they can to dump the salaries in Golden State with the Knicks and move on. You do that, you're in a slow build. So, moving on to the next person, Damian Lillard. If the Knicks sign Kawhi, you can go all in on Dame. I don't care if it costs you RJ, IQ, Obi, Mitt, whatever. You can go all in. Dame and Randle get you to the playoffs with some key help to fill out the roster. And then Dame, Kawhi, and Randle can definitely push you towards a chip once Kawhi is healthy. If the Knicks don't land Kawhi, I can't see Dame saying, yeah, I really do want to go to the Knicks. And only the Knicks, because other teams will be on par with the Knicks and he can easily help them. But the question is, without Kawhi, how much you're going to hurt yourself with the ability to bring in players. Because even though you may not draft players if you trade for Dame, having draft picks, having young players, having tradable contracts helps in terms of getting the supporting pieces around Dame and Randle to build a good team. Okay. What if Portland gets him another star to play with like Bradley Beal? The report came out that Portland denied draft pick compensation for CJ McCollum, meaning they are looking to upgrade at that position. Bradley Beal could be a minor upgrade. If Portland goes and gets him a star or two to play with, he's off the board. Him, Beal, maybe you do something to get a Karl Anthony Towns in the mix, fine. That's a dangerous team in the West. The worst case scenario with Dame Lillard is if he was to be traded to the 76ers. If he's traded to the 76ers, now Philadelphia has closed the gap between them and Brooklyn, which isn't that big to begin with. But now they have another superstar that goes alongside Joel Embiid. And if Embiid can stay healthy, they can easily beat Brooklyn, because what was Brooklyn's Achilles heel in the playoffs? Why did Giannis keep the Bucks in the series, regardless of what you want to say about injuries? Is because the Brooklyn Nets have no defenders in the post. They can't stop a single person from getting to the paint. You make that Joel Embiid, he is going to eat you like barbecue chicken. You add Dame on the perimeter to help space the floor. You have Tobias Harris. Maybe they even take Tobias Harris and his max contract and they trade him and whatever else they got to trade to go get someone else that'll fit alongside Embiid, because at that point, why not just go completely all in on Embiid's prime and go for it, right? And then the thing is with Embiid, you do that, you don't have to worry about him not staying because he has health issues. Embiid is definitely signing the Supermax with the 76ers. I don't see him not doing that. And of course, worst case scenario 2 is if Portland would get a Bradley Beal to play with Dame. That takes 2 pieces off the board that are gettable this offseason. And it makes it even tougher because my next guy is, of course, Bradley Beal. So, Bradley Beal could be gettable with or without Kawhi. And I think even if Kawhi, let's say, goes to the Heat, you have to consider trading for Beal. Beal could cost less than Dame. I don't see him costing the house. That's why I really wouldn't go all in on Dame unless I got Kawhi. But maybe instead I go get Beal first, then I can go get Dame. Right? You get Beal, see what that costs you. Then you try it with everything you have left. Push everything in the middle. Go get Dame. Big ifs here. All of this is ifs. Right? Worst case scenario 1 is he extends with the Wizards, which keeps him in the East, which forces the Wizards to try to build with him, which, means he's just completely off the table as a trade piece, as a free agent. Worst case scenario 2, he could be traded to Boston. Now, Boston got better. I think we're as Knicks fans, severely underestimating the teams in the East that are going to get better, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. I was thinking about including this, but I'm going to look at the state of the Eastern Conference and the Knicks standing within it, because a lot of people are getting upset that outlets are ranking them low on power rankings, but if you really peel back layers, you can see where their justification is. But yeah, Bradley Beal and Julius Randle will make you a top 4 or 5 team in the East. I still think you would need another star at point guard, or at the wing, or maybe you would need a paint dominant center. But the thing is, you want is are the Knicks going to try to start building a contender within the next year or two, within this off season and the next? Okay. Because before you blink, the road to contendership becomes a lot harder. It becomes a lot harder before you blink. So what happens if Julius Randle has no help? Eventually, the slide will change. Okay. What if Julius Randle has no help? Well, the Knicks would be anywhere from between 4 to 10 with no second star. They're going to be good. 4 through 10 good. Like, you can't underestimate Toronto because they could use that fourth pick to really bring in some help. Okay. Atlanta proved that they are better. They got better. If they don't blow it up, they could be up there. Okay. Miami, Boston. Indiana's now got Rick Carlisle, so you probably figure that Indiana could be a lot better than their record was. The only teams in the East not fighting for playoff positioning would be Detroit, Orlando, and Cleveland. That's it. Everyone else is jockeying for playoff spots. Unless the Wizards blow it up, I include them in there. When they blow it up, then they're out of playoff contention. But as long as they have Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, they are fighting for a playoff spot. Okay, you're likely a first round exit. Let's be honest. Julius Randle had a bad playoff series, but what is he to do when literally your center and your point guard are no offensive threats whatsoever? One of your wings is a minor just catch and shoot guy, and the other one is a sophomore, just getting his first playoff experience along with him, and it has not yet developed enough offensive talent to warrant any kind of double team or any kind of special attention. You struggle because literally all they had to do was stop Randle, and you see no one. They let Derrick Rose feast. As long as it wasn't Julius Randle, as long as you got the ball out of Julius Randle's hands, and you force Julius Randle to make bad decisions, that's going to be a first round exit if he doesn't get help. Okay? Julius can deny his extension this year to see what the team could do. He'd be like, look, maybe you don't feel I'm a $200 million man, but you didn't bring in any extra talent, so I'm not going to sign an extension right now. Because I'm probably going to get well paid regardless. If he has another season like he had, there's no reason to expect he won't get a good contract from any team that's willing to sign him. So he could be like, I want to see what you can do, Leon. Ball's in your court. 2022 free agency can easily disappear before the season starts because extensions you have the ability to offer extensions. So if Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all these guys sign their extensions, and I think the big three in Brooklyn will, because they realize, really, if they switch teams again, it's not a good look. And I think they're just going to finish it out in Brooklyn because no one's going to criticize them when they lose again. Just no one. Everyone's going to make every excuse in the book. Oh, Kevin Durant had big feet. Oh, James Harden, he just had an unfortunate hamstring injury. Forgetting the part where he showed up to the start of the season looking like Mark Henry from wrestling. At least Mark Henry's bigness was also muscle. His was just fat. But 2022 free agency can dry up fast before the start of the season when players are eligible to sign extensions. If the Warriors do make a win now move, Steph Curry has no reason to not sign his extension because the Warriors made it clear they're going to fight to win till he's pretty much ready to retire. Okay? Julius Randle could walk in free agency and just be like, look, every route to bringing me help has dried out. I'm not signing here. Dallas has Luka. They managed to get Kawhi, and they cleared off the Porzingis cap space for me. So I'm going to go Dallas because I'm from Dallas. They have no state income tax. I'm playing with Kawhi and Luka Doncic. Could you imagine that? He do that? That would be the worst scenario for us to watch Julius Randle go play for a Dallas Mavericks teams that could potentially have Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, and him. I would hate that. If he signs an extension this offseason, his 4-year extension, it buys you time. It does. It really does. But how long, how much of time? Because we're starting to see it. It's becoming clear that NBA stars are going to be able to force their hand no matter how many years they have on their contract. I can understand when you are on an expiring contract and you're a top talent and you say, look, going into my last year, I want to go play somewhere else. You haven't put any pieces around me to maximize my talent. So either you do something or you trade me or whatever. I want to go play here, and I'm going to be determined to go play here. And that team will make whatever sacrifice they have to do to get the cap space. And you could trade the player for something to another team. Like exactly what we saw with Kawhi in Toronto. He had no intention of staying in Toronto. He did consider it, but he had no intention of staying. He won them a chip. He moved on. No one has any animosity to it. It's when it doesn't come with a chip that there's animosity. But now what we're seeing with Dame is he's on the contract for 4 more years, and he has the ability to force Portland to trade him or really take a serious hit publicly. It's just going to be pretty soon, anytime a player is disgruntled, a superstar player, not no bench player, he's disgruntled. He's like, trade me. I don't want to play here. Trade me to this team, and I don't care. And you can trade me somewhere else. But the moment I'm able to walk, I'm walking. You know, it's like how some people at ESPN think that a superstar young guy like a Zion or Ja, not them specifically, but someone in their position where they're a superstar within their rookie contract, and they say, I'm only going to take the qualifying offer. So if you don't trade me, I'm signing the qualifying offer. I'm playing 1 more year for you, and then I'm walking out the door, and you can hold your dick in your hand. It's going to happen. We're leaning towards it. Now, whether or not player empowerment is met with owner resistance, the next collective bargaining, I don't know. But we live in the era of ring chasing and super teams and player empowerment. And as a fan, yes, it pisses you off. Because if you are a fan of a team, it pisses you off. If you are a player fan, this is the world for you. Because you could literally, your player could always play on a great team and you can feel something great. But if you are a fan of a team, it's kind of hard because eventually, how long until I am a casualty of this movement? You know, he can sign 4 years, and 2-3 years, by the time that extension is about to run its course, he could be like, look, you have not provided me with the talent I need to compete in this conference. I'm tired of being a first-round exit. I'm tired of being swept by Brooklyn every season. Get me help or get me out. And I'm not going to put... Julius Randle doesn't come off as that guy, but again, Dame was Mr. Trailblazer until he wasn't. Okay? Kyrie was happy to be in Boston until he wasn't. Okay? Players change their minds. So he can go out in the middle of the court at Madison Square Garden next season after he signs an extension and says, I want to be a Knick for life. Until he doesn't. So don't sit here and assume you have someone in the bag. You don't. You never do. You never do in today's NBA. So, look, those are the big moves we could possibly see this offseason. And if the Knicks strike out on them, it's not the end of the world. You build through the draft. You bring in your Merc free agents who need a 1-year prove-it contract so they can earn money on the next free agency. And you hope RJ Barrett takes a step where he's a 20 points per game scorer, and he's ascending to be a superstar, because that's where the hope still lies in RJ Barrett. If he can really become a star in this league, Julius Randle don't gotta go nowhere. The talent's right there with him. And because you drafted RJ Barrett, you can sign a third star who looks at RJ as like, I want to play with that dude. Because you can grandfather in his contract extension. You can go over the salary cap into the luxury tax to keep RJ Barrett. And we're Knicks fans. If you were alive for the Isaiah Thomas years, you will realize that the Knicks have no problem paying the luxury tax. They'll pay it when they're good. They paid it when they were shit terrible. So James Dolan paying the luxury tax is nothing to fear for the Knicks and the front office and Knicks fans, because he won't care. But if he's paying for a winning product, he will be the happiest guy on the earth. So we'll see what happens. But that's my little bit. Let's see if the Knicks can make some big moves this offseason. If we could sign Kawhi and we could trade for a third star, it might cost us RJ Barrett, but I'd be fine with that because you will have a big three, not on the level of Brooklyn, but very damn close to it, that we really don't have to sit here and have seance circles as Knicks fans hoping Durant breaks his leg or James Harden has one too many Coney Island hot dogs or New York cheesecakes and has another bad hamstring. Okay, we don't have to do that. So hopefully they can do something. And if they don't, it's not the end of the world. We'll see where they go and we'll critique it and have opinions on it. But at the end of the day, I'm not in the front office, so the Knicks don't have to do anything I say. They don't have to do anything you say. Let's just see what they do, and hopefully they put a good team on the floor next year, and we're watching competitive basketball. I don't want to watch a dumpster fire. I really don't. I'm getting sick of the dumpster fires. Anyways, that's it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you next time. Let's go Knicks, baby.